YOLO. Today I wanted to talk about 10 of the biggest lies about money. These money lies keep people from ever trying to become rich or holds them back at certain levels in their progress towards financial freedom. If you can break free from these, you're already ahead of like 80 to 90% of the population. But without further ado, because I don't, let's get into it. Lie number 1. Money is the root of all evil. This is a missed quotation from 1 Timothy 6:10, which actually says that the love of money is the root of all evil, not money itself. See, money itself is just a tool that can be used for good or evil, depending on who is using it and for what purpose. But if you fall for this lie thinking that money is evil, then why would you ever strive to get it? You would get just enough to get by, because if you see it as evil, by an extension, seeking after it makes you evil, and inherently, people don't want to think of themselves as evil. Lie number 2. Rich people are greedy. The truth is, broke people can be greedy. Rich people can be greedy, and medium well-off people can be greedy. Anyone can be greedy. Having money doesn't necessarily mean you're greedy. I actually, in my own personal life, was more greedy when I had less money because I had a fear mentality about losing what I had, so I wasn't very generous and willing to help others. But as soon as I started to make more money, I became a more generous person wanting to help others because I no longer felt that fear or anxiety about not being able to take care of myself. And what we tend to see is people who are more well off doing philanthropic work, because at a certain level of wealth, there's not really many things you can buy, but there's a lot of things you can do with your money, such as building wells in Africa or feeding starving children. There's more charities and foundations dedicated to those things than I can possibly count, and most of the money comes from wealthy people. That doesn't seem like very greedy and stingy mindset to me. Lie number 3. I'm just bad with money. Last time I checked, there are 0 babies born with the knowledge of investing, accounting, budgeting, finance, or even understanding the difference between a gold-backed currency and a fiat currency. The truth is, these are all things that you can learn, and nobody knows it from the start. It's a skill that you can acquire, but if you keep telling yourself that you're bad with money, then you will actively sabotage any hopes you have of acquiring that skill, because it then goes against your new self-belief. You need to eliminate this. Even if you are bad with money, change it to something like, I'm not good with money yet, but I'm learning how. That will shift the way you see money and financing, and of course learning about it all through financial education and literacy, to a more positive mindset, which will actually benefit you in the long run. Lie number 4. Working hard will make you rich. The reason that this lie is so potent is because it's a half-truth. And half-truth makes you think it has to be true. But it's leaving something out. It's a lie of omission. See, hard work alone will not make you rich. You've only got 24 hours in a day. And if you work all 24 hours a day without sleeping, there's a max to how much money you could make, assuming that you wouldn't die of exhaustion. Hard work is necessary to get rich, but it's not the only component. See, if you're working hard, but you don't own any value in what you're working on, you won't get rich from working hard and not being able to own what you're working on. Or at least working hard and taking your money and investing it into something that you do own, such as stocks or ETFs or possibly rental houses. Hard work gets you the first step. The second step is making your money work hard for you. Lie number 5. I'll save or invest once I start making more money. Now, at first this seems to make sense. If you're struggling right now with your finances, you can't be investing or saving. You have to take care of the bills today. Tomorrow will bring its own challenges. But the truth of the matter is that if you don't learn to become resourceful with what you have, to grow it and to increase it, you're never going to get more. And if you do, you'll probably end up falling victim to lifestyle inflation, where an increase in pay suddenly means an increase in bills. How often do you see people, or at your work or in your family, who get an increase in pay and then go and get a new car. They sell the old one and then trade it in, buying a more expensive car at probably a higher monthly payment because they can afford it now, even though they can't really afford it. This is the problem and the trap that causes people like doctors and lawyers to end up living paycheck to paycheck, spending it just as fast as they make it, because they always think that they'll be able to save or invest once they start making more. Lie number 6, I don't deserve to be wealthy. This lie is incredibly insidious, and the sad part is it usually stems from childhood. It's more of a value of self-worth. If you're not feeling like you are worth money, then you're not going to ever try and achieve that until you think of yourself as valuable. And the sad thing is, most people seek validation through others. That's why this lie is incredibly dangerous, because it takes your power and puts it into the hands of someone else. You end up avoiding money because you don't think you're worth it, and the only way to become worth it is for others to see you as worth it. And they're not going to see you as worth it, since to them, you always seem like you're unworth money. You're poor. It is an incredibly toxic mindset to have, and you might need to seek professional help for this one. Lie number 7, all debt is bad. The truth of the matter is, there is some good debt. Now, most debt is bad. Think things like credit cards, car loans, and depending on the major you go for, student loans. Those ones are a hot button issue, but sometimes they could be useful, sometimes not. But there are forms of good debt. Think mortgages to buy a home or to get an investment property. It can even be used to help build your credit. But debt is very dangerous, so use it with caution and your best judgment, because missing a payment or the stock market crashing and you have to sell your stocks or your investments to cover your debts would never be ideal. Lie number 8, you should never take risks. Now, I think you should take risks. You should take calculated, careful risks. You shouldn't go to the casino, put it all on black, and let it ride. That would be irresponsible, to say the absolute least. But if you go around having that you should never take risks mentality, which is more of a fear mindset, which keeps you from going and gaining, it keeps you held back, you're never going to really accomplish much or gain much. With risk comes reward or loss. Never put in more than you're comfortable losing. And if everyone lived by the you should never take risks mindset, well then we wouldn't have cars, we wouldn't have planes, we wouldn't have electricity, we wouldn't have running water, a million other things. All came about because someone or a group of people took the risk, tried the invention, tried something new, built something, created, explored. You get the point. Risk that is careful, calculated, and well thought out can be a great thing. But just being completely reckless, well, then you're just dumb. Lie number 9, your house is your best investment or asset. If you've ever read Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, you know that this is completely bogus. And I happen to feel the exact same way. Now, I'm not advocating for everyone to become a nation of renters, no one to own property, to eat the bugs, own nothing, and be happy. Far from it. But what I'm saying is to just know the difference between an asset and a liability. And it's broken down in Robert Kiyosaki's book super simply. I love it, and I'm going to share it with you here now. If you buy something and it costs you money every month for owning it, it is a liability. If you buy something and it generates money for you, then it is an actual asset. If you buy a house and it's a duplex or a triplex or something like that, and you rent out part of it, then it's actually paying you for owning it. That's an asset. If you buy it and you just kind of live there as your primary residence and you have your family there, that's great, cool, awesome, congratulations. Just don't think of it as an asset, because it is in fact a liability, month after month, taking money from you. Line number 10, I don't know anything about investing, so I can't start. See, This one hits close to home for me because I fell for this one as well. I thought you had to know everything about it. You had to be a special Wall Street kind of guy or have gone to school for this stuff. And that cost me over $100,000 of potential profit because I was looking to invest in something but talked myself out of it. The truth of the matter is you don't need to know everything. You can just get started and learn as you go. Just use small amounts of money until you learn what you're doing. There's plenty of books, YouTube, podcasts, hundreds, thousands of people sharing tips and tricks on financial education and literacy so that you can learn what it is. But one of the best teachers in life is experience. And the best way to get experience is to actually do it. If you read as much as you can, but don't actually start, you're going to end up falling for analysis paralysis. You'll have so much access to information and so much information that you'll get overwhelmed and you won't really know where to start. That's why I think it's a little bit better to just get your feet wet a little bit, start putting a little bit of money in, and learn as you go. These are 10 of the biggest lies that hold people back or even keep them from starting their journey towards financial freedom. And let me know in the comments below which of these lies that you've fallen for yourself and how you overcame them. Thanks for sticking around for the whole video. And as always, I'll catch you on the flip side.